Welcome to Newsmax TV. I'm Kathleen Walter. With us now is the National Affairs columnist for the National Review, Mr. John Fund. And John, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you, Kathleen.
Having failed to develop a legislative package that addressed the causes of Newtown, and with gun legislation expected to fail in the next few days, has the president failed the first big test of his second administration?
Well, I think he overreached and he overpromised. It was clear that after Newtown, obviously the public was shocked at the horrible tragedy. But that's a big difference between having the federal government step in and have a one-size-fits-all policy for this country. Connecticut has already decided to impose new gun controls. I think most of those are misguided, but that's a state decision. And for the president to basically talk about we're going to tackle assault weapons, you know, we had that for 10 years. We had a ban on hundreds of so-called assault weapons, and it didn't budge the crime statistics much at all, if any. So I think the president gave in to the temptation to rally his base, but not behind particularly realistic proposals, and that's why they failed.
Obama's 2014 budget proposal, the GOP says it adds $8.2 trillion to the debt, $1.1 trillion in new taxes, and $964 billion in new spending. Can President Obama get the GOP back to the bargaining table with this budget, and can the GOP stop new taxes?
Oh, sure. I think the House of Representatives has made that very clear. We had revenue in December. We increased the income tax rates. We kicked in more taxes on medical devices through Obamacare. We had a whole series of tax increases take effect in January. The president now wants to come back to that well again with a slow economy. I think one of the reasons the economy is slow is because of those tax increases. Remember, everyone's payroll tax, yours and mine, went up significantly in January. So I think the Republicans will say no to new tax increases. I think the president will say no to real meaningful entitlement reform. He has modest adjustments in there on, you know, cost of living adjustments, by the way, affecting current seniors, not just future seniors, which is what entitlement reform would be focused on. So I think we're in prospect of seeing a lot of stalemate.
So no grand bargain on this?
A grand bargain will probably be a pop gun bargain if there's any at all.
Okay, what about immigration reform? I know that you have concerns about this bipartisan legislation and the fact that it's being put together behind closed doors. Can you share with us your concerns?
Well, the reason the 2007 immigration bill died was because it was written behind closed doors with very little consultation. It was sprung on the American people. There wasn't a full debate. When the American people found out what was in it, they said, you know, this is moving too far, too fast, and they stopped it. I do have those concerns. My concerns are somewhat lessened by the fact that it looks as if Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid has agreed that there will be amendments to the bill. He's agreed that there will be hearings. So I'm glad that it's not going to be as closed a process as I thought previously. Having said that, we still need a long debate on this because we made a terrible mistake in '86 passing the immigration bill that we did then. That, I think, memory haunts a lot of people still to this day. So if you're going to bring people along, you're going to achieve any kind of a national consensus, which combines both enforcement and a comprehensive solution to the 11 million people who are already here. We've got to all get buy-in. We all have to be part of the solution.
All right, which Senate incumbents do you view as the most vulnerable right now?
I think Mark Pryor of Arkansas may well retire rather than run for re-election. I think Mary Landrieu of Louisiana, those are both states that Mitt Romney carried easily. In Montana, Max Baucus is a very vulnerable incumbent. I think Michigan, which is going to be an open seat, Michigan often elects Republican governors. It has a Republican legislature. That's a doable state. Right now, I'd say there's 6 highly vulnerable Democratic seats, and the Republicans need exactly 6 seats to take back the Senate. And if they get lucky, they may even do a little better than that.
So you think the GOP can win back the Senate?
I think Democrats acknowledge that they can win back the Senate. Look at the fact that 2 out of 3 incumbents that are running for Senate re-election are Democrats. Look at what states they're from, and also look at the state of the bad economy and what is called the 6th-year itch. In the 6th year of an incumbent president, voters tend to get very anxious and very nervous about the future, and they tend to blame the party in power.
All right, John Fund, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you, Kathleen.
And thank you for watching Newsmax TV.